Today I have a special one for you. Let's taste A. Overholt Monongahela style rye.
Now you're saying, I've never heard of that before. There's a reason.
I have, and by the way, we have a special guest today. So, Allie, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're here?
So I'm Allie Klug. I am the East Region Brand Ambassador for James B. Beam Distilling. We are based in Kentucky. Our main facility is in Claremont, Kentucky, about 30 minutes straight south of Louisville. And we make a lot of whiskey, which is super fun for me.
I never heard of you before.
No, never heard of the
Beam?
Beam? No. We're so much more than just Jim Beam White Label, and we happen to make Overholt. So Old Overholt is probably the product that you're most familiar with. And A Overholt is a brand new extension of that family. The A stands for Abraham. So Abraham Overholt is the founder of the Overholt family. And when he originally created the brand in 1810 in Pennsylvania, it was very different than the brand that you have today. Weirdly enough, things changed between 1810 and 2024.
Really?
I know, strange.
I hadn't noticed.
Slightly different. So while we do have a facility in West Overton, which is the original home of Overholt, it's now a museum and a historical landmark and has some tourism aspects to it so that we can continue the beautiful telling of our history. Overholt is now made in Kentucky. And what we're doing with this particular brand, though, is we're going back to the beginning. Mm-hmm. So when rye was originally being made in what is now the Pennsylvania, Maryland area, but didn't have that name in 1810, rye was what was available, and corn was a moot point, right?
Right.
So most ryes being made didn't have any corn because corn wasn't available. So this is 80% rye and then 20% malted barley, 0 corn. So that's kind of when you talk about Monongahela, that is the kind of crux of it, right? So there's multiple aspects that go into the history of rye and how it was being made at that point. So you're talking about not only the mash bill not having any corn, but just, the rye itself was being grown in tighter rows, less space. And then Monongahela is actually in reference to the river that runs through that area of western Pennsylvania.
I just like saying that word, Monongahela.
It's great.
I can say that all day long and never get tired of saying it.
I'm super excited for people to say it correctly. Which is an exciting part of bringing this to the world, is because
Monongahela. We'll put it phonetically out on the video here.
And it's funny because I've actually had other people in the whiskey industry be like, "Oh my God, you say it right?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, this is my job, right?" And they're like, "You'd be surprised."
You would think, right?
Yeah, you'd be surprised, but here we are. So the mash bill being one, the actual growth of the grain, right? The one aspect of it for us particularly that isn't exactly historically accurate is we do not have a 3-chamber still.
Okay.
Todd Leopold gets to wear that hat of the only one in existence in the country, and he spent a lot of time researching and creating that still. I will never not give a sweet shout out to Todd because I just think his brain is incredible and he's just the sweetest man. Oh, wow. And his products are great. So here we are with A Overholt, and we're really, really excited to go back to our roots. And I have to say, I'm not even just saying this because I work for this company. I think we freaking nailed it. So it's still 4 years old, the same age as Old Overholt, but it's different mash bill, and it sits at 95 proof, and it is non-chill filtered. So here we go. You're getting a huge sneak peek because it is not in the state yet.
Yeah, man.
It is on the shelves in Pennsylvania currently, but we are still waiting for our delivery in the state of New York.
All right. I'm super... thank you so much for bringing it.
Of course.
It's a treat I was not expecting.
I cannot wait to just, pour... for this liquid to flow like the river. Because it is truly just so stunning to me. And it is drastically different from Old Overholt, which is very exciting to have it live within the same family, but to have truly two unique products.
So right out of the gate, I definitely, and this is for me, I love this, but I definitely get that malted barley influence. You get, and it doesn't taste like a Scotch or a single malt, but you get, like, I always get that malted barley to be like this chocolatey note. And I get that on here.
So we're using our distillers. So we have a distiller's malt, right? Very more often than not, when you're talking about modern American whiskey and their mash bills, people are using about 5 to 10%, and it's truly only for fermentation, to kickstart fermentation,
for the amylase,
right? Yeah. They're not looking at it as a flavor component. We have deep dove into malt a lot more since our production of Claremont Steep, which is our American single malt. And I had a really, really amazing day at the distillery in the lab with some of our like lead science people. And they let me just be like a kid in a candy store. So they're like, here's fresh barley everywhere. And I'm just like literally like trying it like candy, because just trying to find like different flavor profiles and experience all these different malts, because there are so many out there. I don't think people realize how many versions of barley exist. But we are using our distiller's malt here, and I actually really like our distiller's malt. And I like the flavor profile and quality of it.
This has got, you had me at the nose. This has got a fabulous aroma. And I just love that because it's got that like sort of earthy, chocolatey. I'm trying to think if I get a nut. I don't think I get walnut, but maybe you can help me. But it's just but you still have the rye. But to me, the first thing that I get is the malt, but it's kind of commingled with like the more sort of traditional rye, kind of like that brightness.
I feel like with this particular bottling, the version of pepper that I get is different. So I feel like we've moved away from that cracked black pepper, and we're more into that like white and pink peppercorn medley, where it's a little bit softer of a pepper, but it's still very present.
No doubt. And and I don't get, maybe a little bit, but I don't get like necessarily a little bit floral. I don't get really that much herbal, but I think mostly predominantly I get like the rye, and I get that earthiness, the barrel, and that malt. But altogether, that's a really unique and interesting and really, really nice.
I can't wait till we get to the palate.
Juicy aroma.
We're gonna talk about my favorite.
Well, I can't wait.
This.
Let's rock. One more thing, or?
Oh, well, I was gonna say, when it's so funny that you mentioned floral. This is what I was thinking of when you said it, because like rye does have the potential to have a really beautiful floral component, but I don't typically usually see it until you malt the rye. And the malting process on the rye brings that floral component out. But because the barley is what's malted and the rye isn't, that kind of still stays a little bit below the surface.
Sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, now we drink.
No,
sorry.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Sorry.
You're killing me here.
I mean, first and mostly, the texture is so silky.
This is great.
Palate-wise for me, it is this gorgeous, like, banana bread moment. There's this like, I get the banana on the nose a little bit, but I get it a lot more on the palate. And it's so funny for me because I like the flavor of banana, but I hate the texture. So for me, I get all the flavor and I don't have to deal with the texture of the banana.
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of get that like mid palate. Like I don't get it initially, but it kind of like builds.
Oh, the tip of your tongue is definitely that pink peppercorn for me personally. And then that creamy banana bread note just kind of like, it does this like, the way I talk about tasting is so weird to most other people, but it makes so much sense in my head. It's almost like a wave crashing on both sides. Like it just kind of feels like it starts at a peak and then slowly coats your tongue.
It's a great description. Yeah.
And it makes so much sense in my head of just that kind of layout of just this. It's like.
This is so good. So good.
It's so good.
It's so good. I won't mention another company, but there's another company that makes a 100% malted rye.
We do too.
Whiskey? Really?
Yeah,
malted rye?
Basil Hayden has 100% malted rye.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh my goodness, it's so good.
Got some in the trunk.
We're gonna have to do another video.
But it's different. But that malted rye, and I think this also. You know what's interesting? All right, so you may think I'm crazy. So you were nice
I doubt
enough,
it because I'm definitely crazy.
You guys were nice enough to give me a sample of the Claremont Steep, which I actually liked. And I sort of described that as like a bourbon drinker single malt, like it's not going to taste like Band-Aids or Scotch. This one, to me, at least on the nose, has that really nice, and again, this is one to try, but it's got that, it's got that rich milk chocolate kind of thing that I get on some single malts. It doesn't necessarily have, like, let's say maybe like on like the 100%, the single malts, like that apricot note. I don't get this, it's more of that banana. But it has just got this nice, I'm not going to say smooth, but it's definitely soft. It's got this soft.
I think we can go silky. I feel good with silky.
All right, silky. Yeah, she
said
silky.
I feel like the texture's very silky.
Yeah, it's
great. I again, like, we're working like with no corn, right? So it's only these more complex sugar.
You don't miss it. You don't miss the corn in this one. There's plenty of sweetness there.
I love corn. Listen, we're at the end of the day, like, I will have a love and a place in my heart for every style of American whiskey, and it's what makes me so passionate about the categories, because there's so much available. But we were definitely like missing this moment, and I'm so happy this moment is here because it's just so good. And like it's wild that it sits at 95 proof. You do not feel like you're drinking a 95 proof whiskey at all. The balance on it is phenomenal.
Yeah. I have this soft spot too in my heart for like these Pennsylvania style ryes, and I think this is an absolute winner. So
yeah.
So
coming to a store near you.
Coming to a store near you. Do we have any idea on what the price point is going to be for this?
The suggested price point is $40.
Yeah, that's great. Do we expect it to be available nationwide?
So we're starting with a limited rollout because it is a brand new product. So it will be a little bit more of a focus on larger cities, but it will eventually be available everywhere. Just with a new product and with the team that we have, we want to make sure that we give it the attention that it deserves and to release this correctly. Right? So we're just trying to do the right thing, and it will. So again, already available in Pennsylvania, the home of West Overton. It's there and currently on shelves. It should be available in most major markets by mid-April, I want to say, if not earlier. But I'm just trying to, again, like, getting things into states, it's very like state specific, and it has nothing to do with us. Like, if we had our way, it would just immediately just appear on the shelf. But we have to make sure we do everything legally, and every state has different steps that you have to go through. In New York, it should be here early April and readily available. God forbid anything happening. Just like all of a sudden there's like a lightning strike and then everything's gone.
Yeah. I got to tell you, this is it's really good.
Agreed.
And for $40, I think that,
like, again, the freaking price to quality is something that I think we just knock out of the park.
And not only that, there's no question. But not only that, I'm trying to think if there's anything in my Rolodex, in my brain, that is even similar to this. I think this is unique. It's good.
I mean, we did the research. I have to say, like, the people that work on this particular brand, like within our brand house of the company, like their passion, their knowledge, their experience, like, and the amount of work that they did to make sure that this was the right mash bill, the right distillation parameters, like everything was like what it needed to be respectful and honoring the history and the reason why this brand exists. They did it and then some.
Yeah.
So it's like, I could not be more proud of this product and more excited to get it into people's hands.
I agree. This is a home run. So look for a Overholt straight rye whiskey coming to a store near you. Allie, I can't thank you enough. This was an unexpected surprise treat.
Yay!
I can't thank you enough for bringing this and sharing a pour with you.
Absolutely.
And all your knowledge. Please come back again soon. I could do this. I could do this all day.
Listen, there's whiskey, there's you, there's dogs. He gave me cheese. I mean, who could ask for more?
What else is there?
I'll stay.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.